Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to talk to you about the romantic ideal of pair bonding for life and how this concept still influences our collective imagination. Today, we'll explore how the landscape of relationships is changing dramatically in our modern world. We'll look at the rise of singlehood, especially in Western societies, where marriage is declining and more people are choosing to stay single by choice. So, let's dive in and see what these shifts mean for us all. And although the West has traditionally been at the forefront of this trend, the shift toward solo living is now clearly visible across the globe. In Germany, for example, more than 40% of households are made up of individuals living alone, which really highlights how common this lifestyle has become. Looking at the United States, data from the 2019 General Social Survey shows that over half of Americans aged 18 to 34 reported not having a steady romantic partner. This indicates a significant change in social patterns and relationship dynamics among young adults. This global rise of singlehood ties into the broader theme of how lifestyles are evolving worldwide. It's a trend that reflects changing societal values, economic factors, and personal preferences, and it's reshaping how we think about relationships, family, and community life. Despite the fact that more people are embracing singlehood around the world, it's important to recognize that single individuals still face a lot of stigma. A 2020 research paper titled, "Are Single People a Stigmatized Group?" highlights some of the challenges singles encounter. It shows that singles often experience bias and social exclusion, which can be quite isolating. But it doesn't stop there. The research also points out that being single can even lead to financial disadvantages. For example, singles tend to earn less than their married counterparts. They may also end up paying more in taxes, and they often have to spend more on health and social benefits. All of these points, bias, social exclusion, financial hurdles, highlight how societal attitudes can be unfair and burdensome for single people. This connects to our overall theme, which is how societal perceptions and structures impact individual experiences and well-being, regardless of relationship status. So, is life actually better when you're single? Well, the answer really depends on the individual. Everyone's experience is different, and what works for one person might not work for another. But if we look at the evidence, we find that singlehood can offer a variety of benefits that many people don't always consider. In fact, there are 12 compelling reasons why being single can be a positive choice. That said, the reality is more nuanced. Many people report feeling genuinely happy and fulfilled while being single. And according to social psychologist Bella DePaulo, the common claims that marriage automatically makes people happier, healthier, or more socially connected are often exaggerated or even simply wrong. So, as we explore this question, keep in mind that whether life is better single or not really depends on individual circumstances, perspectives, and priorities. Many people are single at heart, meaning that for some individuals, singlehood isn't just a temporary phase, but a genuinely fulfilling way to live. DePaulo points out that being single can be an authentic choice, not just a stepping stone to something else. In fact, marriage doesn't automatically guarantee long-term happiness. Having children, for example, might bring joy in the moment, but research shows it doesn't necessarily lead to increased life satisfaction over time. Across different lengths of marriage, happiness tends to decline gradually. There's often a small happiness boost right around the wedding year, but then people tend to return to their baseline level of happiness. Sociologist Eliakim Kislev's research confirms that, despite what many believe, marriage isn't a consistent source of increased happiness. But here's the thing, our culture often tells a different story. We tend to see single people as missing something, sometimes judging them as irresponsible or undesirable. The romanticized images of weddings, honeymoons, and family life are portrayed as essential ingredients for happiness. Traditionally, society has positioned marriage as the foundation of a meaningful adult life. From a young age, we're taught that success involves finding a spouse, having children, and living out that happily ever after narrative. So, the key takeaway here is that relationships and marriage, while meaningful for many, are not guaranteed to make us happier in the long run. It's important to recognize that happiness is a complex, individual experience that doesn't rely solely on these societal scripts. Friendship, on the other hand, tends to be more steady and often more fulfilling. It develops gradually, without the unhealthy attachment or emotional chaos that can sometimes accompany romantic relationships. Research even shows that single people often invest more time and attention into their friendships, families, and communities compared to married individuals. When we look at modern romantic relationships, they're often driven by intense emotion and idealization. This can lead to a pattern of a burst of passion, followed by conflict, insecurity, and emotional turbulence. It's a cycle that can be exhausting and destabilizing. Epicurus, a Greek philosopher, believed that it was sexual passion, not genuine intimacy, that often disrupts our inner peace. He argued that feelings like jealousy, heartbreak, obsession, and impulsive decisions stem from sexual desire, and these can derail our lives. He famously said, "Sexual intercourse never helped anyone, and one must be satisfied if it has not harmed." This highlights his view that sexual desire, while natural, is unnecessary for true happiness and can often lead to turmoil. Epicurus championed friendship as a healthier and more sustainable source of joy than romantic passion. He saw sexual desire as a natural but unnecessary pleasure that tends to cause more harm than good. Overall, history's great thinkers have often viewed romantic love as one of the most turbulent and potentially destructive forces in our lives. So, as we think about cultivating healthier forms of love, it's important to recognize the value of steady, genuine friendship over fleeting passion. Singles truly value the opportunity to pursue their interests and passions without constraints. Over time, lifelong single individuals often develop a stronger sense of autonomy, which means they feel more in control of their lives and decisions. As DePaulo points out, while some might see extreme examples, the broader truth is that singlehood provides an unparalleled level of freedom to shape your life's purpose without distractions. Take Nikola Tesla, for instance. He dedicated himself entirely to his scientific pursuits and believed that avoiding romantic entanglements helped sharpen his focus and creativity. Similarly, Albert Camus argued that life doesn't come with an inherent meaning, and it's up to each of us to create our own. Society often tries to impose meaning through marriage and family, but as singles, we have the unique ability to change our life direction without needing anyone's approval. We can pursue our interests freely, make choices without negotiation, and adapt our paths as we see fit. There's a profound sense of freedom that comes with being single, a freedom that many married people rarely experience. This is a core theme in understanding the value of singlehood, the liberty to craft your own life, your own purpose, on your own terms. Learning to thrive in solitude truly eliminates that fear entirely. As Junpal Sutra famously said, "If you are lonely when you're alone, you are in bad company." This highlights a key point. Being comfortable alone is essential for genuine well-being. It also prepares us for life's realities, because, at some point, we all face periods of solitude. Understanding how to be alone, without feeling lonely, makes those times more meaningful and less daunting. Plus, solitude is affordable. When you need less, you spend less. It's also reliable. Your happiness isn't dependent on external factors, but on your internal state. Becoming self-sufficient has some powerful advantages. For example, jumping from one relationship to another, like an emotional addict chasing the next fix, keeps us from truly understanding ourselves. But solitude gives us that chance to build emotional independence. Society often treats singlehood as a deficiency, a state waiting to be fixed by finding a partner. But this ignores a simple truth. Many people in relationships still feel lonely and unfulfilled, while many single people feel whole and content. Single people often become more self-sufficient, emotionally, practically, and financially. Instead of relying on a partner for validation or to meet needs, they cultivate inner completeness. So, developing self-sufficiency isn't just about independence. It's about creating a stronger, more resilient sense of who we are. So, as we wrap up, I want to emphasize that whether you prefer partnership or solitude, the most important thing is to live intentionally. That means making conscious choices about how you want to spend your life, rather than simply following a predefined script that society might hand you. For many people, singlehood isn't a failure or something to be fixed. Instead, it can be a powerful, fulfilling choice, one that offers freedom, opportunities for personal growth, emotional clarity, and the chance to build meaningful relationships outside of traditional romantic expectations. And just to be clear, I'm not suggesting that marriage is bad or that single life is somehow better than being partnered. Everyone has unique needs, values, and desires, and that's perfectly okay. What I do want to challenge is the outdated stigma around being single. It's a perception that's not only old-fashioned, but also unsupported by evidence. Being single can be a thriving, enriching experience. So, in conclusion, I encourage you to think about how you want to live your life, mindfully, authentically, and intentionally, regardless of societal expectations. That's truly the key to fulfillment.